Can you pick up chicken in the game?
No, I think he meant I think he meant like he ordered a bucket of chicken, and like he was gonna eat some chicken afterwards. The obvious thing is like, yeah, he's probably calling him chicken for not going in to do the raid, or like for him and Han about what they were gonna do. But part of me wants to believe it was, yo, let's get this through because my chicken just arrived. I gotta eat. Let's get this raid done. I find that to be more hilarious. That's all. And actually, I am gonna turn the ticker off because I did not have a chance to update that. So,
oh, man. CNN would be very disappointed in you.
Well, when CNN wants to pay for words in our ticker, then they can do that. But
you still want the CNN logo up?
Yeah, that'd be the first thing we talk about. Or
okay.
What do you want to do? You want to do it like this, Tom? You want to do it like this? You want them to see our beautiful bean faces?
I mean,
beautiful bean footage.
Maybe.
Beans.
Not. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't.
Tom, you had one job to do, and that's to know. That's all I need you to do.
I stopped drinking. That's part of the problem.
What do you mean you stopped drinking? This is a revelation to me.
I don't. I don't drink that much anymore. I just get high.
I will drink double for the both of us.
See, like I have 2 cars that you got rid of. We're taking care of each other here.
Also, why do you have 2 cars?
Currently, I have them because there was no way in hell I was going to trade in for the price that they offered me for the GTI. I could have easily gotten $4 or $5 grand more. But there's also do I want to sell the GTI or not? Because, as I said, it's a lot of fun, and I could turn it into a little project car.
Are you going to turn it into a little project car, though?
Maybe. I don't know. Current primary car, which is also named Audimus Prime.
Audimus Prime? Nice.
Thank you. It was either that or Bougie and Blue.
That's terrible.
Really?
Audimus Prime, yeah.
You and Sarah. I liked Bougie and Blue as an homage to Rhapsody.
So Sarah didn't like it? That ought to tell you everything you need to know. If me and Sarah both don't like it. How did Sarah feel about Audimus Prime?
She likes Audimus Prime.
That's all that I feel vindicated. And I'm not shitting on the. Actually, it's not even that it's a bad title. I just don't think of that. That doesn't scream Audi or doesn't scream car to me. Bougie and Blue. I think of something else.
I see. My thought process was
minivan.
So weed might have been involved when I came up with that name, and I was just like, I was thinking about pulling up somewhere and someone being like, "Dude, that's bougie as hell," and I'm like, "Yeah," and the car's blue, therefore, Rhapsody in blue, Bougie in blue, yes, thank you, marijuana.
To make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Too many trains to fight to make it work. Too many.
So Audimus Prime it is, and total cost of ownership of that is more.
How much is the GTI?
I mean, how much was the GTI?
Or no, how much do you think you're trying to sell the GTI?
Oh, I could probably get probably 10 to 12 for it. I mean, it's relatively rare. There aren't many in that color. There aren't many 4 doors with a manual transmission. So.
Well, how many miles you got on it, though?
80K.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's it? How old is this car?
10 years old.
Tom, we might have to have a conversation.
Hey, don't make me distract you from your 240.
That's true. I'm just saving all the money and go for the 240.
But
I might have a second project car.
The GTI is might be a better option than the 240, though. The rear-wheel drive on.
Whoa. I mean, currently by the engine that's in the GTI compared to the stock 240, no duh. But like, I would drop something else in there. I have thought about getting it. I know this is a movie podcast, so we're already talking.
Yes, welcome to Car Talk with Tom
Car Talk on NPR. Brought to you by the Auto Commander Shipp and the Revving Major Tom. RPM Tom.
Yes.
No, Tom RPM. Oh gosh. Yeah,
welcome, kids.
Yeah, man, we scared
if you
away.
If you haven't tuned out yet,
Taryn, it's good to see you. Because the F in Fast and Furious stands for family. But isn't the word okay? The F in F9 stands for Family 9. That's what it is.
Oh, I thought it was 5 9's uptime.
What? You thought it was what?
5 9's uptime.
5 9's uptime.
Yes.
Is that server talk? Did you just speak in server to me?
Yes. Yeah.
Almost like
when something is up 99.99% of 999% of the time.
Okay.
Which means like less than 15 minutes total unplanned downtime per year.
All right, folks. This is the Commander Shipp and Major Tom show. We've all combined it together. It's going well. And I had to bring attention to it. I don't know why I had to bring attention to it, because I didn't mess up that time. I think my brain was preemptively like, you're going to screw this up. And then when it didn't know what to do. So this is Nerd Union's movie podcast. And we don't have a ton. There's obviously the big elephant in the room, the Loki season finale. We'll get to that at the end. And I actually forgot, we're going to push back Superman and Lois till next week, because I'd rather spend all of next episode to talk Superman and Lois, what we think so far. So I don't want to try to do that. And I know I talked about that last night of like, hey, me and Tom will talk Superman and Lois. Let's just pause a little bit. But know that me and Tom very excited about this show. The weekend we shot Fast and the Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious. Our in-between, our palate cleanser with Superman and Lois. Tom got me through, because I had not been able to watch the whole season. So Tom's like, yeah, another one?
And I quote, God damn it, you're getting me all the way caught up, aren't you?
And then we did subsequently get all the way caught up, and I was in. Okay, I'll stop, because if I even start talking about why I like it, we will be here. So if Tom's good with that, promise next week will be Superman and Lois. We'll do a whole breakdown on that. If you want to go ahead and start watching it, I'd recommend doing that, because it's been in about 5 episode chunks. So they're in the next 5 episode chunk. I got to double check. I don't know if it's 20 episodes this season. We are on the 12th. So 13th should be coming out this week. And
tonight.
Yeah, tonight. And I think there's 2 more. So that would make that next set of 5. But again, I don't know if it goes past 15 or if it's going to 20. So I have to check that out. But I'll get that confirmed before next week. But it's been since shit hit the fan about the middle of the season, it's just been it's like, and we're going.
Yep.
You thought that was it? No, the show has started now. I'm like, what? You mean all this is for the end of the show? We're starting. This is really when we're getting going now. Like, oh God. All right. So we start every show with quick hits. And Taryn so beautifully rolled their eyes at this headline, and I agree with them. Me and Tom have been talking about the streaming bubble for the longest. So you're probably not surprised what we're going to roll our eyes at here. But CNN has announced that they are launching a streaming service that will take some of CNN's original content. CNN does do like original movies and original docuseries, a lot of docuseries on their network. And this will be a place for all that to be branded together, along with other potential shows that CNN might grab and put into it. And I just don't care.
Yeah, like, guys, CNN, really, Wolf, Mr. Blitzer, you could have easily just resold this to Netflix and been done with it. Instead, you're creating your own for us. You want me to pay money to watch your old movies, is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah. Now, we don't know how much it's going to actually cost yet. So that's kind of the interesting, like, you drop this announcement, that definitely is going to be the first thing that comes on people's minds as they're making decisions on what to cut. And then there's always the question of whether it would tie in with HBO Max because of the Warner Media connection there. If this is something that's just bundled in and you don't even notice it, like it doesn't result in a price hike if you've got HBO Max, something like that, sure, whatever. But an additional service, come on. I just a bridge too far for me, Tom.
They jumped the shark. And Wolf Blitzer is there reporting, we're not 100% sure what kind of shark it is. We think it might be a mako or a great white. Definitely Arthur Fonzarelli is making the jump. Yeah. You okay there?
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting my next.
Oh, you're queuing it up, so I could start talking about it while you're queuing it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ever wonder what the perfect human being to play J. Jonah Jameson would look like doing their screen test? Well, we shall share that with you right now. The mustache is missing.
That is great. That is because it's not there yet, actually. Because you can see like the bones for his J. Jonah are there, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Taryn saying can't hear it. Oh no.
Yep.
Well.
Oh, I wonder if the output's going to your headphones if you were the only one hearing it.
You also didn't hear it?
Nope.
Dang it.
I thought it was being broadcast out and not back to me, so.
One moment, folks. Let's try it like this. Skip-a-dee-doo. All right. Let's try this again. Let's see if this works.
Go, JK. Nope. At least not for me.
Still no. No. All right. One last try. Then we'll move on. And you'll just have to believe us that it's amazing.
Or, you could go Google that shit.
Yeah, people can go Google the shit.
It's Lunatic's news, all right. Bad news.
There we go.
We sold out all 4 printings, Jonah.
Sold out.
Every copy.
Tomorrow morning, Spider-Man page 1 with a decent picture this time.
Can't get a picture. I've had Eddie on it for weeks. Nobody ever gets more than a glimpse of him.
Was he shy? We get a picture of Julia Roberts in a thong. We can certainly get a picture of this schmuck. Put an ad on the front page. Cash money for a picture of Spider-Man. He doesn't want to be famous? Well, then I'll make him infamous. He's a criminal, that's what he is. A vigilante, a public menace. What's he doing on the front page of my newspaper?
He's news. He saved 6 people from burning to death.
Yeah, the fire he probably started. It's Lunatic's news, all right. Bad news.
We sold out all 4 printings, Joe.
Okay, so hopefully that was better, folks.
Yes.
So Taryn, let us know if you can hear that. Yeah, Todd, what do you think? Now that you can hear the
Oh, I mean, I heard it before, but yes, that's why I was commentating before that it's good, it's there, but it's not quite there. But I think though it's like doing readings, especially with people who are maybe not the best at reading back to you, can be difficult to really develop a character.
Yeah, I don't know who was on the other end. But yeah, it was not a lively back and forth. But yeah, because God, I bet someone's come out with some comparison. I bet someone has put that out already on YouTube. If you haven't, someone get on that. I need a video of J. Jonah with J.K. Simmons. Pronto. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun. I like that.
Yep.
It's good. It's good to see him. It is weird. Full-haired J.K. Simmons and non-haired J.K. Simmons is always weird to go back and forth. It always feels weird to me.
Yeah, I was actually kind of disappointed that he didn't keep the flap top in the new Spider-Man movies.
Well, I mean, I guess they had to show some age on J. Jonah. Or they wanted to show an older J. Jonah in that version.
A more seasoned J. Jonah.
More seasoned. Yep. All right. Next up, what do we got? What do we got, Tom?
We have...
Everybody get up. It's time to slam now. It's Space Jam: A New Legacy, and it beat Black Widow's second weekend, bringing in 31 million. Black Widow had a pretty massive opening for the first weekend between Disney Plus and regular theaters. We're going to get to a little bit of theater drama with Black Widow a little bit later in the show, but it's nice also seeing that, this is not a knock on Black Widow. It's just nice seeing that other films are also doing well. Now, the only thing we don't have at this 31 million is how many people watched it on HBO Max, because again, the first 30 days with Space Jam being out, it is also available on HBO Max. They did not release those numbers, and Nielsen doesn't have any data to back for that. And like we said last week, these things are problematic. We don't always know. And even the 60 million that Black Widow made on Disney Plus, we don't know what it did this week on Disney Plus. Did the theater numbers, which we're going to get to later in the show, did they drop off and Disney Plus stayed high? So, don't know. Tom, did you get to watch Space Jam?
Original or new one?
The new one.
Probably not going to, honestly.
Tom, you don't have any nostalgia for...
You know, I too am boycotting the less voluptuous rabbit, but no, it just on it. I don't think I ever fully saw the original Space Jam as well. That was like, I was done with it, done with Looney Tunes by the time that came out for me.
Yeah, people are shitting on this movie. And I'm like, one, it's all right. There's a longer conversation to be had about how much of a grab bag it feels from Ready Player One. Because I'm like, man, this seems familiar. I swear, like I've seen this.
Mhm.
Oh. So if you've seen the battle at the end of Ready Player One, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And when you're watching this movie, you'll be like, oh. I'm like, yeah. It is as vapid as the commercialized movie market can be, as like a commercial product, just to pump a bunch of shit on screen.
Yep.
It is that. But there's plenty of jokes and things to be had in it. Like, I haven't done a review on it. I'm backed up on reviews. This is going to be lower on the totem pole, but the first one, y'all are kidding yourselves with the first one if you think the first one's amazing. You might like it. You might have nostalgia for it. That's fine. But let's not act like the first just Space Jam is some, it's just animated Jim. No. I'd rather watch Five Goes West any day. Come on.
I'd rather watch Fast and Furious too.
Ooh, I can't say that. I can't say that. If those are the options, I'd rather watch Space Jam.
I mean, yes, Michael Jordan is a better actor than Vin Diesel, but
Hey, you said Fast and Furious 2, right? Or 2?
true.
Yeah, I was about to say. Then that's I hate to shit on Paul Walker, but OG Space Jam for a Nerd Union watch party. No. 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 No, 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 no. No.
Oh boy.
No, no. And it's got Newman. I can't, on principle.
Hello, Newman.
Old Wayne Knight looking at.
Ugh.
All right. Next
Plus,
up,
hello there, Bugs Bunny. I will play basketball for you. Thanks, Michael.
Michael. All right, we're gonna move it to castings and announcements. Doug saying, if it doesn't have Bill Murray, I don't care. And there's no way you're gonna get Bill Murray back for this movie. That wasn't gonna happen. No. All right. So hopefully I didn't just terrify everyone with that scene transition. But the new Chucky series has a release date for sci-fi. So if you weren't aware, there's an a TV series coming to sci-fi that's going to arrive October 12th. And it was going to arrive sooner, but the pandemic delayed the filming for it. Don Mancini, the man behind the films, was to be the showrunner for the show. Jennifer Tilly is reprising her role from the films, along with Brad Dourif, who will once again voice the doll. They've also added on Zachary Arthur, Tio Brions, Avia A. Lind, Borson Amorson, and Devon Sawa. They're not a lot of veteran actors, and has got a really young crew to bolster this. So even like looking back through their filmography, I'm like, yeah, y'all haven't done all that. That sounds about right for a horror. For a horror series getting ready to launch on Sci-Fi, on SYFY, not the original Sci-Fi. But the premise, my notes keep disappearing because I have too many windows up. In the new series, a vintage Chucky doll turns up at a suburban yard sale and throws an idyllic American town into chaos as a series of horrifying murders. I wonder who could be doing that. Begin to expose the town's hypocrisies and secrets. Meanwhile, the arrival of enemies and allies from Chucky's past threatens to expose the truth behind the killings, as well as the demon doll's untold origins as a seemingly ordinary child who somehow became this notorious monster. Oh, gosh.
Oh, that could be interesting. And I'm so glad this wasn't just like, when I first read this, dyslexia had got a hold of me and was like, they're rebooting Chuck. But this is much better.
Oh gosh! Oh Chuck! Chuck. Let's actually get the Chucky face off the screen. I'm just gonna move to the next one, just so I don't have to keep looking.
Yes.
Also, one last thing about Chucky. Wow, that series got crazy. Like the first two were like, okay, demon guy puts a soul into a doll, doesn't want to stay in it because otherwise he'll be bonded to it forever. Cool, fine, whatever. And it just goes bonkers. It gets like in Jason territory as far as like how crazy that series gets.
Oh yeah, like Chucky in space. Chucky.
I don't think there was a Chucky in space.
No, there was never a Chucky in space.
But you know what? I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just seen the audience. I was like, oh yeah, Chucky in space. I'm like, that makes sense. Because because you had like Bride of Chucky, Son of Chucky. Like it got crazy. And then there was a reboot, and Mark Hamill voiced the doll for a little bit. Yeah. So,
I can almost guarantee you that was probably better.
the next Disney animation film, this is not the Pixar film, but this will be the 60th Walt Disney Animation Studios film centered on a South American family that apparently has a lot of amazing powers, magic, and abilities inside the house. No, we're not talking about creating another like superhero team-up movie. But Encanto is the only member of her family that apparently is not special. They go out of their way to call her that in the trailer. Real punch to the gut there. And Lin-Manuel Miranda will be doing the music for the series. Or sorry, the child's name is Mirabelle. Sorry, that's not the movie's name is Encanto, but the child's name in the movie is Encanto. Or Encanto is the name of the place that they're in South Colombia. Let's see. So, some names you've probably heard. Our love, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine will be the title star, joined by Wilderville Miranda, singer-songwriter Adasa, Orange is the New Black star Diana Guerrero. And we already talked about Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the music. Is he just becoming? Sorry, this is not the takeaway from them. Is he just becoming the music guy for Disney?
Seems like it. Yeah, I mean, it's, and Disney, like they will take a concept and then just pound it like it's rough steak.
Okay, so I know I've been promising to go do some stuff on In the Heights. I've had Dominican and Haitian friends come to me about In the Heights, talking about, yeah, where's the Dominican music? And my problem is Miranda is like the Hispanic poster child right now, and he's making vaguely Hispanic music. And if you're going to be making movies that are about specific subcultures, because even when we say the word Hispanic, that's still broad. It's like when we say the word Asian, right? Like,
yep.
Who and where do you mean? Because that's a lot of countries, and even within those countries, there's a bunch of. So I want him to still get work. This is not saying This is not cancel or like saying don't get work or anything like that. And obviously, there's some projects like when Moana, he sourced really well with that, as far as like getting that sound right for the Asian Pacific Islanders. So that's it's a little bit different. Rather great research into that one. But you get into In the Heights, and it's like, well, I'm just going to bring what I brought to the musical. It's like, yeah, but what you had for the musical wasn't good either. Like that's kind of some vague stuff. So yeah, that's my only problem with this. When I found out he was doing this one, I was like, God, I hope it sounds like what area of South America is this supposed to be in, and what does the music sound like in that particular country and region? So I know it's a small thing that for a lot of people, they're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? But for people that are supposed to be seeing themselves on screen and they're like, they're good because they're going to listen to it and be like, I mean, cool, that music's great, but that's not Brazilian music. That's not Argentine music. Like, what are you?
Yeah, it's like having, it's like Disney doing another Brothers Grimm remake of some type, but have French singers or something along those lines. That like there's a scene in Oktoberfest, and there's a French ballad being played in the background instead, potentially.
Yeah, actually, let's see. Let me go through some of the comments. Ace Davis says they support the watch party for Space Jam.
Judas's.
Yeah. If y'all get more to if you get more people to do, if you get more votes on that, go over to the Discord or tell us in the chat. If you really want a Space Jam,
if you really want it, recruit one Patreon person to then vote.
Hey, I like that.
Yes, voting is behind the Patreon paywall.
Let's see. Taryn says, I mean, Coco was super authentic. Yes, Coco was very authentic, but that also wasn't Lin-Manuel. So the musicians that got to...
I'm sorry. I just like the correlation that you've made between those two.
Oh gosh, I feel like everyone's just gonna be like, I'm really not even trying to shit on him. I just want him to do better because he is doing so well. But these are the it's like you're 80% there. You're way better than what a lot of folks would have done on this. To be clear, it's like, but if you're at the top, these are legit. I think these are fair criticisms to make. They're like, you're gonna keep getting these gigs. And there's other musicians and composers that may be closer to the source material that could possibly have taken that spot. Now, granted, if they were just going to give it to a white person anyway, that didn't know wasn't going to do the work, it's probably better that Manuel does it. So at least it's in the ballpark. But this might be a better Super Bowl topic. But I will simmer down.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a breath and move on to Marvel.
David Harbour, Red Guardian.
Harbour.
What was it? What did she call him? Crimson. You come down here in your Crimson Dynamo costume. It's like,
that was a nice little Easter egg. Yeah. But actually, Soviet Santa.
It's actually Red Guardian. It's going to be teaming up with another Marvel star, Anthony Mackie, for a series called We Have a Ghost. It's going to be one of the...
Please let this be a romantic comedy about two guys who give birth to a ghost and then have to raise it.
We're also going to have Tig Notaro, Jahal Alo, Winston, and Jennifer Coolidge jump in this family movie from Happy Death Day filmmaker Christopher Landon. So Jeff Manal's short story Ernest, which is going to be on Netflix, follows Kevin and his family who find a ghost named Ernest haunting their new home and get turned into an overnight social media sensations. But when Kevin and Ernest go rogue to investigate the mystery of Ernest's past, they become a target of the CIA. Holy shit.
Is this a comedy or something? I mean, Jennifer Coolidge is in it. So
I think it's a comedy. Wow. I have read some descriptions in my time watching movies, reading VHS box tapes. That's up there. Wild baloney. Wow. I'm gonna read that one more time because I'm having a hard time processing what I just read. And sorry, folks, because I am quoting this directly from the Hollywood Reporter's article, so I apologize. So, based on Jeff Manal's short story Ernest, and it's going to debut on Netflix, it follows Kevin and his family who find a ghost named Ernest haunting their new home, and they get turned into an overnight social media sensation. But when Kevin and Ernest go rogue to investigate the mystery of Ernest's past, they become a target of the CIA.
Wait a minute. Something has to be wrong here.
Am I missing a sentence?
There's like two. So there are two Ernests. I think there's the dead Ernest and a living Ernest. Is that how I'm reading this?
Is Anthony Mackie the Ernest and dead? I don't even know who's playing who.
I want Tig Notaro to play the ghost.
Maybe there's a better description out there. Maybe this article sucks. No offense to you, Hollywood Reporter. Y'all usually do good stuff.
Or maybe some offense.
Maybe some offense if they just... Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like I just read a VHS from an early Tom Hanks movie. That's not a knock on Tom Hanks. He did some weird stuff.
Tom Hanks did some Money Pit.
Money Pit, The Burbs.
Neighbors, Bachelor Party, which I'm still mad at him for not being in Bachelor Party 2, even just if it was a cameo.
Yeah, just wild. Okay, I'm good to move on.
Yes.
So, you know what? I will put a pin in that because I kind of want to see it, just so we could.
I mean, I'll support almost anything that Hopper's in, and
except Stranger Things season 3. I'm sorry, that's trash.
Yeah, we fought about that.
I thought we were on the same page. Or did it take me a while to get around? Wait, hold up. Tell me, what do you think of Hopper in season 3?
I thought that Hopper was. I thought Hopper's direction was, in the writer's mind, a foregone conclusion, but not necessarily well thought out.
Okay.
Hey, this old single guy never really had a long-lasting relationship. Now has a teenage girl. He's not going to know how to do anything with that. He's going to be a complete jackass about it. Is, I think, what happened in the writer's room when they were working it out. And then everyone else is just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Look at this beautiful man. Look, still wrong direction. Look at this beautiful man.
That way.
Okay, struggle, I get. But he'd already struggled in season 2. That's why I have a problem with it. It's like, you didn't need to do that twice. Wasn't season 2 him struggling with how to work and grow with 11? So now you add a teenage boy in it, and all of a sudden he just loses his shit?
I mean, listen, if you were a baby boomer writer, you would totally be like, no, this makes total sense. Boys are starting to come around. Of course I'm going to do something terrible to the boy to scare him.
But I mean, even in that framework, like, then he turns into like a toxic dad. That's there's like, okay, so there's like him struggling with it, and then like his arc for the season is like, okay, let me learn how to, which he never really does. Then there's like the escalation of that is you get into like sitcom level silliness of like, don't date my teenage daughter or else I'll bring the shotgun, which is problematic in itself. Or like into like the passive aggressive sitcom nonsense would be, to me, that would be that next level. And then they said, let's make that worse, because sitcoms are already toxic. Let's double down and make that worse. Tom, what? Ooh.
Oh no! Listen, I'm not saying that the end result was good or bad. I'm just saying I understand how they came to that conclusion, that this was a proper arc for him.
Okay, and I don't disagree with the struggling part. It's the toxicity that I'm like, you'd already pulled him out of that in season 1. He was on the right path, or like, I don't want to say right path, but just like he was a guy that's building his life back, putting his life back together. Setbacks in that are to be expected. So season 3 is also a setback. I can understand that to a degree. Of like, what does normalcy look for you now? Because you haven't had that in a long time. That was kind of ripped away with you and your daughter and wife. Like, get that. But sorry. Yeah.
No, and the only other thing I will throw out there as well as a counter argument to this is that we do have to remember this is a period piece, and people were toxic as hell in the 80s.
But I don't.
I'm not saying I'm not saying
That's
it's right. I'm not saying anything that he did was right. I'm just saying.
I did not figure it.
Yes, and I'm also saying we are way off topic.
You're way off topic. Yeah, we'll keep moving. Sorry. No, that's a fair. I don't think the show's that smart, though. But that's a fair point. God dang it! They want to watch Space Jam. Oh my gosh! They really want to watch Space Jam. Thanks a lot, Tom.
This wasn't my fault.
It feels like it's your fault. So Benedict Wong was sitting on the sidelines, wondering if his number is going to get called for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because generally it gets into the whole sorcery. Definitely would involve his character from Doctor Strange. And if you've watched the recent trailer for Shang-Chi, you saw him in an underground New York fight with Abomination. Benedict Wong got to talk about how excited he was because he was expressing those same feelings of, hey, I'm not I know I've got some other things like with Doctor Strange 2, like, but Shang-Chi looks really cool. and would love to be a part of that. And then he gets the phone call that like, hey, yeah, we actually do have we want to connect this with Doctor Strange, which is what that role is serving with his fight of Abomination. What that's going to lead to, how that's going to connect with Multiverse of Madness, not quite sure yet. But shout out to Benedict. Like seeing you getting the more MCU stuff and not just being Infinity War and Doctor Strange. Like seeing more stuff. So it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I guess it's just cool like having everybody together in Shang-Chi. Like, yeah, we're gonna power everybody in this movie. It's like, what do you mean everybody? We're gonna power everybody in this movie. Like when the second trailer came out, you see Michelle Yeoh's in it. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. What? Not angry, not mad about that. That's great. It's awesome.
I mean, it doesn't apply. I'm fully aware that, but Ken Watanabe needs to be in this. I know, but
no, I'm with you.
I want him and Benedict Wong to have like a voice off.
A voice off,
man. Yeah, like Ken Watanabe's voice is amazing to me.
Let them fight.
Okay.
Our next story. I know it looks a little weird because we got a baby on. Jamila,
like,
what are you doing?
Like.
Okay, maybe this will make more sense. All right. I guess that's what I don't get the baby. What?
Maybe it's like her take on a glow up.
I guess. You think you'd pick a more relevant photo? Okay. All right. So, Good Place star Jamila Jamil is preparing to play a villain in the upcoming She-Hulk series and showing off some of her fight choreography and training for that. So kudos to you, Jamila. We'll see how it hopefully pans out really well for your MCU debut. Of course, playing villains in the MCU is typically a one-shot job. So, but hey, maybe you get to enjoy the entire season, right? You're not just coming in for a couple episodes. Get to be there the entire season. And I don't know, maybe pull a Zemo in like Falcon and Winter Soldier, or
yeah. At least, at the very least, I want her to be a Kilgrave.
Yeah. Because at least Kilgrave was like a really good villain, and it's like okay, but even if he's gone, like your impact for one season, okay.
Not just impact, but also 9 out of I think he was 11 out of the 13 episodes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Taryn saying, I think she's in a fighting pose as a toddler. Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
Okay.
I guess I was distracted by the whatever she was holding. I guess a plate, bowl, or cup. All right. Get back here. All right. What's next, Tom?
We've
I
got.
decided to. We're gonna push that. Oh, I forgot.
So Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
But the photo you saw is of a Billy Porter show that just got highlighted with a lot of new performers, but I could not get all the information for them before the show, so I did not want to just rattle off. I really try to avoid just rattling off a bunch of names that people are like, huh? Who? So probably let Taryn pick that up for Friday. But we have 2 trailers. I'm excited about both of them. We haven't seen something from Ridley Scott since Alien Covenant, really.
Wait.
What?
We had Raised by Wolves.
Is that? Do we have to talk about that? I didn't get to finish it, so to be fair, I should go back and give that a fair. Done that because I actually did like what I saw. So I should go back and give that a good fair shake. But this is The Last Duel, starring Ben Affleck, Jodie Comer, Matt Damon, and Adam Driver. It's about one of the last legal duels in French history. There are definitely duels after this, but they were no longer a legal form of adjudication or a way to like, I disagree with what this judge has said. I want to settle this on the field of battle. And it's based off. Actually, I'm gonna go and get it playing while we're talking it up.
Matt Damon. Oh, that's kind of dramatic. And no sound.
No sound? Dang it.
Yep.
My father told
There we
me
go.
my life will be blessed with good fortune. I'm married. I was a good wife. And then was judged and shamed by my country.
I say before all of you, I spoke the truth.
The most unspeakable charge has been brought against you.
Jacques Legris entered our home. He attacked me.
The accusation is false.
I am telling the truth.
The truth does not matter. There is only the power of men.
This should be settled quietly.
I'm innocent!
I request a duel to the death.
If you lose, your wife will suffer dire consequences.
One of us has lied. Let us let God decide.
You do not believe me.
I am risking my life for you.
You are risking my life so you can save your pride.
The penalty for bearing false witness is that you are to be burned alive.
I will not be silent.
Oh,
Okay. So glad. Oh, can you switch the audio because I'm getting.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
So glad I was on mute because I was barely holding it together with Matt Damon's look, and then blonde Ben Affleck shows up with a giant mole on his cheek, and I lost it. I absolutely lost it.
So,
Adam Driver is the only person who looks at home in that movie.
That is, I think that's fair. The hairstyles, honestly, actually, I know people are looking at it a little weird. It actually looks very era appropriate.
Yes,
So
mullets were a thing back then.
Yeah, but to your point, on those two, it's Matt and Ben specifically. You're right. Adam Driver looks at home. Jodie Comer looks at home.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I forget that actor's name. He was in Heroes. Yeah, he's one of the adjudicators. They're one of the judges. He also. Everyone else looks at home. Damon and Affleck look a little off. So the one thing I didn't get to talk about, you see it in the trailer. So a content warning as far as like assault, rape. The story of this is that Matt Damon's wife there accuses Adam Driver of rape, and this is how they settle it. And I've been reading a lot on sexuality throughout the history of Christianity and like medieval England, France, and I'm very curious to see how much they actually dive into that, and I'm hoping it's not just tokenized. So like, I hope this is not a light brushstroke. Like, I really hope they get into those dynamics as they're talking about it in the movie, because otherwise, like, what a waste of source material if we're just gonna, oh yeah, we're fighting for Hana. We're not really gonna dive into the dynamics that are under, like the power dynamics that are here. So I'm really excited about it. May not be a movie everyone needs to. May not be something everyone watching theater. Maybe you need to watch it when it comes out on DVD for streaming. So I totally understand that, but really excited about it. What you think, Tom?
I'll go see it, but yeah, I'm still gonna laugh. Probably every single time Matt Damon or Ben Affleck shows up.
Now Cherry says, "What the F is going on with Matt Damon?"
Yeah,
agree. And then Ace Davis also said the mullet. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So it is not. Yeah, it's not crazy, but that just doesn't look that great on them. Next up, so we talked about this with Candyman, and Nia DaCosta is the director for Candyman, but in all the promos you see from the creators of Get Out, or a Jordan Peele produced, and it's like just kind of completely ignored Nia. So I'm telling you, this show is produced by Taika Waititi, so you know, like, he's bought into it and is helping executive produce. But I want to focus on. Actually, I'm gonna bring his photo up real quick before we start the video. Dang it! Sizing hits me again. Oh gosh.
Lilliputian.
So this is Sterling Harjo. He's the Native American indigenous creator that has written, producing this show about a group of kids living on living in Oklahoma. Still have ties to a local reservation there in their town in Oklahoma, and the various hijinks and stories that they get into. Some based off of his real life and his growing pains and things that he experienced are being put into this, and just collecting a great cast for this. So the initial trailer had me giggling and laughing to no end. So we'll go back and show that real quick. But yeah, let's take a look. The show is going to be called Reservation Dogs.
Oh. Okay.
Abnormal.
No one has seen a stolen food truck, would you? Oh. Someone stole the truck. Broad daylight.
Put your seatbelt on. Seatbelt? People safety. We're stealing a chip truck.
I do not give a shit, man. Put your seatbelt on. We're not going. Go! Apparently it was full of chips. I've never seen anything like that. You're good thieves. Best in town. Oh, thank you. It is a small town.
Tell your friends. I don't have any. Go get some then.
Okay. We could be in California as soon as 2 months.
California, here we come.
You and your buggy ass friends. What are you gonna fight for? I just have no idea. Like a month.
What kind of gang was supposed to write Amblo?
Indian Mafia couldn't make up their minds if they want to be Bloods or Crips more. Maybe they're Blips, or maybe they're Cruds.
It's easy to be bad, like Commander. It's hard to be a warrior with dignity.
We're making it drop when the Glock go pop, pop, pop. Bullets can't be stopped. That line 'em and chop when the Glock go pop, pop, pop. You better believe we shutting down shop when the Glock go pop, pop, pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It hit a nerve. Like I wasn't cackling right there, but when that video came up in my feed and I clicked on it, I was like, holy crap. There's just so many little things, even with that intro with the chip truck, that I'm like, because they're eating the chips right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. What do you think, Tom?
I'm going to give it a try. The trailer honestly had, like, early 2000s coming of age comedy feel to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I feel about that yet, but I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah. I also kind of got a slight Atlanta vibe.
Okay.
Just a little bit, but not like all the way because they're kids. So maybe more in like the Dope. If you remember the movie Dope, like, so if that was expanded out into a series, but we're switched locales and like experiences. So again, obviously I haven't seen an episode of it, so that could be completely off. But I get some sense of vibes like that. And Dope almost feels like to your point of like the 2000s coming of age. It almost seems like 10 years forward of like, what does a 2010 coming of age movie feel like? And I feel like that's what Dope is like. So yeah, I think your description was really good. So yeah, I'm excited for it. And that will be out later in the fall, fall FX slate. So
actually, no, next month. I said August 2nd.
I apologize. Yeah, I got the Chucky thing in there. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. That is next month.
I pay attention to things.
Hey, you know what? You have the face.
I do have a face.
You do have a face. All right, we got a little bit left in the show, so we're going to be talking last little bit of Black Widow roundup because Variety was reporting that a lot of theaters are not happy with the Black Widow numbers in the second week, saying that they're pending to collapse on Disney Plus. Let me get some specific. Sorry, I want to pull.
I think, like, I get what they say, but it just movie theaters need to understand, like, we're in a transitional period, and yeah.
So actually, I take that back. Oh no, Ace, this is actually not about Black Widow. Sorry, this is not we're not actually talking about the movie. So this is more like industry dynamics. So we're not actually going to talk plot points from the movie. So I apologize, folks. Yes, this is not a spoiler conversation. This is just, I bet Ace is already gone. So I take it back. It's not about the second week. They're upset about the first week, probably because of that 60 million that got reported from Disney Plus, which we normally wouldn't have heard about, but because I guess it was so good for Disney, they pushed it out and wanted to tout it. But I think that's really where the theater owners have gotten upset, because that could be money that could have been profit shared in the theater if it hadn't been on Disney Plus. The age-old question is going to remain: would they have still made 60 million more in the theaters? I don't know. Like, if the premiere option hadn't been there, what would people have done? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sucks because you're right, Tom. It is a transition period. We're trying to get back to some sort of normalcy, but the streaming possibility of movies being there has been lingering over theaters for the longest time. So we can't act like that hasn't been an option, or hasn't been a thing that's been considered, or something that's been thought about. But let's also be fair of, like, theaters were on a major rebound before the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'd had a couple slow years there in the early 2010s, and then for like the last 5 to 6 years have been some of the best performing years they've ever had. Still nothing is topped based on inflation like 2001. They still haven't quite gotten to that number, but your major studios are doing a lot better. More and more people are seeing indie movies than they ever had before. So I think they do have some stake to a claim of, like, we were performing well as the number one option before streaming, before people would watch something on streaming. So you could make the argument, like, this is Disney and other streaming platforms taking advantage of opportunity, not really, taking advantage of an opportunity in the market that wouldn't have existed otherwise, wouldn't have existed as strongly without the pandemic. What do you think about that, Tom?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to the mark. It's, if, say, we're having the same conversation a year from now, and the Delta variant and or no other variants rear their ugly head, then yeah, definitely a bigger and better argument. So I think theater's going to be sitting pretty once Dune eventually gets out.
Assuming it doesn't keep shifting dates. Dune.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Dune. Or I guess really we're looking at Warner Brothers. I apologize. Dune's ready to come out. Denny been in a wave, wants that movie out. Come on! Let's go. All right. So Tom, you got to watch Gunpowder Milkshake, right?
I did.
Oh, that is not the right photo. I apologize.
You know, they're both redheads, so that works.
Yeah, I'll just take it off for a moment, and they can see our beautiful faces. So it's fun. I was expecting to be a little bit better. It is fun. My roommate kept talking about the dialogue, and I went back and rewatched parts of it, and I had to agree that like some of the dialogue is a little chunky.
The dialogue and the fight scenes, at least the very first fight scene, was chunky, in my opinion.
To me, a lot of the fight scenes, and it was like, you're going to complain about excessive slow-mo. I'm complaining about where they put it. Because
yes.
like, in slow-mo in a fight, I'm honestly not going to get too upset at that. It's just a part of the aesthetic now. I do prefer when directors put more thought into it, but I'm really not going to beat someone up about it. But they fell into that kind of Snyder trap where they slow mode movement in as if that was like going to heighten anticipation. And I'm like, we already know the stakes.
Yep.
They're coming to get you. You're in a defense position, like if it was the library scene or just just pick what your scene was. So it's like the stakes are pretty clearly defined. You want to protect the kid or so on and so forth, or try to strike a deal. So I'm like, we got that. We don't really need to do. It's like you don't need slow-mo up until that moment, and then also slow-mo for the action scenes as well. So that'd be one directional thing I would have made an adjustment to. Because really, I think the bones of this are pretty fun. So if someone took another hack at it and just re-edited it, I bet I would enjoy this way. Even if you can't fix the dialogue issues, I think if someone just went through and just gave it just a quick edit, maybe chopped off maybe 10, 15 minutes, just tighten it up a little bit more, I think people would really like come away, blown away from this. Even though the premise is, we've seen this a bunch of times. So I don't want to bang it up for that either, because you've had like Death Wish 1, 2, and 3. Like you can just go down a laundry list of men that have had opportunities to have these movies. So I don't have a problem with women getting the opportunity to have this team up movie like this. Just could have used a little bit of touch up.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it, for what it was, like Netflix isn't Warner Brothers yet, right?
Right now, that's probably a good thing.
It's probably what?
I said right now, that's probably a good thing.
Well, yes, or they're not Sony Pictures. They're not, they're a different animal, right?
Yeah.
And they're not quite fully baked, I think, as a production group, which has its
pros and cons.
Points. Yeah.
Yeah, it means they're more likely to greenlight some projects that wouldn't have been greenlit, but that doesn't always mean the quality or the attention that needs to be given to it would happen. The director for this, Navet Pashado, is an Israeli horror film director, and this is their first action film. It's actually their first American film as well. So I'm wondering if that played some issues there too, if they're used to like kind of slow meandering horror pacing, because they're not like they weren't making like slasher horror films. They were trying to make more like considered horror movie films, which I appreciate, but that doesn't mean that may not always translate well to like a faster paced John Wick kind of, even like Hitman's Bodyguard kind of. Like, let's move. Let's really get this dialogue out. Let's like really move through these scenes.
Agreed.
Yeah. But
Agreed.
hey, It's already out on Netflix. You want to go give it, check it out. Because again, when Angela Bassett and Michelle Yeoh and Carla Gugino or once they finally are in the library getting to have their moments, I do really enjoy that. That hit a spot. Just hit a,
Though,
hit a
and
spot.
I also highly appreciate their choice of car, except for the fact that it was automatic. But
the scene you and me talked about that. The scene's not going to work if they're having to shift in a manual. That's not. It's already unbelievable the kid's doing, and then she's doing like, yeah. I mean, I think it's been too much for the kid. I think it's already unbelievable as it is. So then, like, yeah, automatic just makes it easier. Yeah. All right. So that is our thoughts on Gunpowder Milkshake. So definitely, if you enjoy it, good team up action gunplay, good shooter movie.
It's a romp. Yeah.
It's a romp. You know what I described it as? It reminds me a lot of Shoot 'em Up.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's if you enjoy Shoot 'em Up, this is a movie that you'll. So that's the Clive Owen.
Yes, the homage to Bugs Bunny.
I can't remember what is her name. Monica.
Oh yes, starts with a B.
Belushi? I'm
something like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Monica. I'm messing your last name up. Played the Merovingian's wife in the Matrix sequels. Also Inspector, a bunch of other, yeah. But that movie is nuts. I don't know if I'd call it great, but it's nuts. But I would put these two in similar ballparks.
Yes, though I think Gunpowder Milkshake has significantly less breastfeeding.
That did happen.
Yes, it did.
Oh God. Told you the movie's nuts.
Yep.
And to be clear, folks, we're not shaming breastfeeding.
Nope.
There's you just have to if you watch you know the movie, you know what we're talking about. That's all I'm gonna say. I can repeat that on non-FCC airwaves that are governed by YouTube bots. All right, and lastly, so this is spoiler warning for Loki, the whole season of Loki. If you have not watched Loki, do not proceed. Yeah. Do not collect. I mean, collect $200 if you got somewhere to collect $200. Go collect your $200.
Yes, but, actually, if you have $200 that is owed to you, go out, bust some kneecaps, and get that instead of watching this.
Get your money. Get your money. Also, if you don't want to hear connections to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, potentially to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, potentially to Spider-Man, No Way Home.
You say potentially.
Also, what's that?
You say, I mean, I need to get into the spoilers. Yeah,
just, okay. All right. I'm going to put Jonathan Majors back on here. Where's my mouse?
Because it isn't potentially Doctor Strange. It is absolutely the kickoff for Doctor Strange.
Well, we don't know for sure.
Doctor Strange and the what?
No, Multiverse of Madness. No, that's not what. I guess. Let me back up. What I'm saying is, but we still have 3 movies before that. So I'm not saying this is the catalyst for whatever he's. Yes, you're right.
Yes,
this is the catalyst for whatever he's going to deal with, but I don't know at what point he's going to deal with it. Is he dealing with it as soon as this moment happened? Are we going to get nuggets in Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man that all, kind of pile on him, and he's like, shit, it's getting worse.
Actually, at the end of Spider-Man, I think it'll be Doctor Strange pops in and goes, "Hey, kid, I need your help," or some crap like that. And then hilarity ensues. TVA black-owned business, awesome.
It's just so good. I've loved seeing that. People keep sharing it on my wall. It's great. It's great. Don't stop. That's hilarious. Oh gosh. Sorry, continue, Tom. I got Tom. Tom. We might have lost the Tom. Dang it, Tom. Well, Tom figures out internet and what's going on. Yeah, that has been pretty hilarious. Let's see. Nell said Black Twitter had such fun of that. Yeah, you're very true. Let me get that on the stream. Or Terrence saying killed him with the laugh track. That's also, I guess so. And Nell saying Tom's frozen in the TVA. I suppose so. So I've had opportunity to already talk about this on Quorum last Thursday. And there we go. I think we got, there we go. We got Tom back.
Oh, so yeah, actually, I was going to send you a screenshot of what I saw from your face.
Oh, was I like?
Yes. You were in a stuttered laughter.
Taryn, I guess you're right. I guess I killed him with the laugh track. Yeah.
Yep.
Like who framed Roger Rabbit?
So yeah, he basically is Rick Sanchez. And I know you said that's painting it with too broad of a stroke, but let's be clear.
To be fair, the more I thought about it, you're right.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you. Because, brilliant scientist discovers multiple universes, meets himself, is kind of cool, but then starts killing himself a whole bunch of times until there's only one Rick to rule them all.
Okay, see, no, there it is. There it is. That's the part I disagree with. Because they're not doing that.
Rick and Morty
might be doing that.
Morty might be doing that. Rick wants to do it, but
doesn't care enough to do it.
Yes, like he doesn't give a crap. Whereas this guy is basically, he's Rick Sanchez with a heart of gold.
Yeah. Or maybe the Council of Ricks was enough to like curtail that. Maybe that's the TVA version.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm kind of looking forward to the Council of Ricks in season 2 of Loki.
Yeah, I guess we'll get some versions, some Council of Kangs. So Kate Herron has said that he's not a Kang, that he is simply he who remains, and that the versions that come after him will be Kang. I know what you're saying, Kate, but come on. It's Kang. It's Kang.
Yep.
Sorry. I know, and I this is not trying to be disrespectful to direct. I know what you're saying. I get what you're trying to say. Trying to make some distinction between that and what's gonna, because his performance is obviously gonna be different. And the nugget we got as well was he did this before Kang was confirmed as his role in Quantum Mania was confirmed. So while that was in the talks, there wasn't a guarantee that he was going to be Kang when he was filming this. So it was his performance apparently in Loki that confirmed, like, we're gonna turn this into, this will be what turns or initiates Kang. If yes, we want you to play Kang. Now, maybe he just didn't know that. Maybe Kevin Feige already had that in play and just hadn't been relayed down. Maybe that's how that worked out, because it seems a little weird that you'd have this big of a plot point and not want to connect the two. Honestly, I thought he had been cast as Kang and Ant-Man, and then this came afterwards of like, hey, this is how we need to fill in this gap.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more. A lot of details have been dropping since the show last episode aired, so maybe we'll get some more details out soon.
Yeah, but I might be in the I may be in the minority here, in that I'm kind of meh about this series.
You being good company with Nell.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I had the option for Sci Saturdays since we're no longer doing Sci Fridays, of either showing getting Sarah into Loki or Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I take a guess as to which one I picked.
You picked Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
You
World's better.
I feel like the problem with this show is, one, I think it should have been longer. I think this should have been 13 episodes. I really do. Because the thing that immediately threw me off in the first episode was when, and it's a small thing, but it tells me that they're trying to compress a lot and make stuff hit.
Mm-hmm.
Was when they brought up the DB Cooper thing with Loki. Now,
yeah, I still don't like that because that just fell flat.
Well, but it also felt like that should have been the start of, hey, and what about this other thing? Hey, what about this? I felt like maybe you and me had talked about this before. It felt like Ruben. It felt like Ruben in Ocean's 11 should have been getting ready to tell us about the three most successful robberies, and it felt like that kind of setup, and then they just didn't do anything with it, and you're like, wait, what? And then the Loki that we know from 2012, this is not our Loki from Infinity War, this is Loki from 2012, just immediately makes a shift after seeing himself die in the video. So you mean Mobius connected with him in a matter of like what looks like a couple hours, and that was enough for this Loki that has had problems with Odin, problems with Thor. None in the two movies we've seen him in, because again, 2012 Loki. This is not. It's just gone through Avengers and Thor. Jumped off the Rainbow Bridge, or let him I was like, I'm out. That Loki, in a matter of 2 hours of conversation with Mobius, is just like, I'm in. Now, granted, I know he's still after that has some. He's still trying to play a game or trying to escape. So I'm not saying he's all the way in, but there's still some maybe that should have had an episode or two to kind of tease that out a little bit.
Yeah, I always felt like there are no stakes in this, and Loki's character development was artificially accelerated.
Yeah, because you have to buy into that from the episode 1, or you're not going to like anything else.
Yep.
Sylvie, you're coming off the Loki archetype, but she doesn't quite fit it. So you probably could have fleshed those details out a little more. I feel like it was enough for what they had built in this show, because I'm like, okay, this is all I'm going to get. So the amount of Loki I got, the amount of Sylvie I got, I'm like, this is what I'm going to get. So I just have to go with this. I'm not saying that's right. But yeah, they definitely could have fleshed that out more, and I think it would have sold more. So I've gone back with Nell and some others in the quorum about how much Sylvie was fleshed out. But again, I'm kind of just going off of, this is the percentage you've given to different people in this show. So I assume that's just all I'm going to get. So as an overall, I would just knock the character development. I wouldn't really pick her out or others out. I'll just be like, I feel like this really should have give me a couple, hey, maybe 10. If you don't want to give me 13, give me 9 or 10 like you did with WandaVision, and maybe that would have given that the meat that it needed.
Yes.
And I talked to Decorum about this as well. Ravina, I hate her. Can't. If there is one character development that I just don't care about, is that your world was supposedly shattered with the TVA knowledge, and that doesn't that you're too cool for that. And then they don't really deliver on that. They just throw hey, mystery box. And Tom, you know how I feel about mystery boxes.
You love them.
Oh, just gobble them up, baby. Yeah, so did not enjoy that at all. Maybe it's one of those so speaking about the development of all of them, maybe that will get better in the next season. Maybe we got enough here where they can build off that and flesh it out next season. But as it is right now, I don't care. And I thought that was all of her actions once the reveal happened in the timekeeper's room just really, I just couldn't get behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually super disappointed it wasn't a Loki.
I'm actually okay with that though.
Yeah,
I know it blows our prediction.
Yeah, I want to be right.
Let's see.
But yeah.
Let me pull Ace's comment up on screen. If you had once thought that you were invincible, but then had just been soundly beaten by the Avengers and thrashed by Hulk, and then saw that your current life path ended in a dark death, it might spark change. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the show pivots from that moment hard.
Yeah, like you get whiplash from that.
I think just giving a little bit more to breathe, because it's after, was it Lamentus is episode 3, so it is the end of episode 2 and he's gone, and you're banking on his conversations with Sylvie to flesh it out, but that's not really who we need to see the conversations with. The conversations of him and TVA, as much as and they do a really great job of giving me a foil to Loki's thoughts on destiny and free will and so on and so forth with the TVA. So I think that's really great, but you need a little more time with that. So that's to where I think the episode length, like giving it 2 or 3 more to like have some more friction with TVA completely, and let's have a couple more opportunities where he's processing with that to get to the point of where now we can move forward with this Loki, feeling assured that he's in the right direction, even if he's going to continue to stumble. I did not get that feeling. I kept waiting. You know what? I agree with Sylvie about this. At the end of the episode, where she still feels like you're going for power, you're going for the throne. You know what?
Yeah.
I can't disagree with you. I don't have any evidence to say otherwise. I can't. Based on what?
Mm-hmm.
Based
Absolutely.
on what? Let's see. One-Me and Owen Wilson as B-15 and Mobius, I still think they're really great. The spots that they were used in were just enough. I know a lot of people are upset of how it ended. I jokingly, I don't know if I really put this on social media, but it felt like me to felt like Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes 2001, where Wahlberg gets away from the planet. Yes, I'm spoiling oh my God, it's a 20-year movie. I don't want to think about that. He escapes the planet thinking he's left it behind and has not been able to get past whatever storm it is that's got him in a time loop or so on and so forth. So he ends up on another version of Earth that's just as messed up and got planet apes ruling the world in a whole nother version, like a whole nother alternate. And that's what it felt like to me. Of like that moment with Sylvie has broken the timeline. So it's not that all bets are off, but like a lot of people were really mad about that. I'm like we don't know what's going on anymore. We don't even know where he went back to. Yeah, it's the TVA. We don't know if it went back to a different
TVA. Well, obviously, he didn't go back to his TVA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, yeah, whether you believe He Who Remains, Kang, or Jonathan Major's performance there, whether you believe him, something definitely happened. So I don't know. I guess I don't get the anger part of it. Maybe you felt like it wasn't sold enough, and we can have that conversation. I just didn't get the anger post of it, because I've been having long conversations about like it doesn't make sense. It breaks they set these rules up. I'm like, did they not just spend the whole episode telling you that if she kills him, all that goes out the window? Is that not what we just? Did we not watch the same last episode? Did y'all get a different version?
Ugh. People. But yeah, it's I'm very lukewarm to season 2. I'm hoping that is there. I felt like this was a 6-episode arc to set up Doctor Strange and maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp and the disco of universes.
Nell says He said he wasn't going for the throne in previous movies.
Oh, yeah. He's always been going for a throne.
Now what are you talking about over there? Okay, maybe not that throne, I'm sure, but that...
Not the time throne. But the Iron Throne. The Asgardian throne. And, you know, that weird rock throne that is in Avengers.
Weird rock throne.
Yeah, wasn't Thanos on like a floating jet rock throne that had little jet powered armrests?
His space chair. The Thanos space chair.
Yeah.
Because every maniacal overlord needs a control console on a chair to.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that Jean-Luc Picard was a maniacal?
Hey, in some people's eyes, he probably was. Starfleet's not just we're not getting started on that.
Yes. Thank you, Warlord Janeway.
Yeah. A lot of people like Jonathan Majors' performance. I tend to also like it as well, but he just going to our meh of the season. I think had the season been better, I would have been better. I would have liked this performance more. So I want to separate. I think he did a fantastic job, but it's not hitting me as it could have because it's just like
Yeah, like by the time, but yeah, and it's unfair to him because by the time he arrived on the show,
Yeah.
Can we just get this over with now?
Imagine Isaiah Bradley's moments all happening in the final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because we all know that episode, that finale was not great. I loved the show. I loved everything up until that finale because it had some problems. But if a lot of that, if there had been some things they started in that episode, you've been like, well, that's not fair to them. This is not why didn't you do that back in these other episodes? And there's probably some better analogies. I have to think of some performances that are really great that kind of get mired in bad movies or bad shows. I'll have to think about that for a little bit. Because that can be a little bit of a rarity where you get like just a knockout performance and a really bad, I don't want to say really bad because this isn't really bad. But just kind of like a mediocre outing, like a okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's like seasons 3 through 7 of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. They really hit their height about season 2 or 3, and then kept on too long. Quote
yes, sir.
From Thor. What? I never wanted the throne. I only ever wanted to be your equal.
Well, now.
Yeah, now I was pulling a quote from Loki in Thor 2011. Okay.
Well, he's full of it.
Yeah, he's lying.
We know that Loki lies.
Sorry, I know what he said. Thor telling him that in Ragnarok to me is more truthful than him saying it right there in the original, in the first Thor movie. Like when he tells you, I loved you like a brother, and it pained me to see, like, to me, that's a more honest conversation. They've gotten through all their stuff by that point, so they can have that honest moment.
Agreed.
Like, to me, that statement, I'm not saying, I know what he said. I don't believe it for a moment.
Yeah, it's not like Loki has ever lied, though.
It's true. Now, you do have a good point. He doesn't want to be alone. So I do think that kernel of truth out of that statement is still accurate. Because he might be pushing people away by his actions, but that's not what he wants to that's not what he wants to do.
Yep.
He had a chance to allow Laufey to kill Odin and take over, but he didn't. Loki doesn't really know what he wants. Is that a win? I feel like that's a win. Look at the win. Okay, sure, he doesn't want the throne. But he doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know. That's right.
Yep.
This is a wash, isn't it? Gosh.
A bit of it.
How do we claim victory, though, Tom? We have to claim victory.
Victory is Snake Eyes is coming out this weekend.
I thought it was next weekend.
Nope.
Snake Eyes. I mean, I'm excited for Henry. So
yeah, I think, and
you're right. It is this weekend. Snake Eyes.
I'm kind of curious as to like what it's going to be. Plus, I loved that one commercial that they had that is all like Robot Chicken.
Oh, that was pretty nice. Because the first Robot Chicken episode was a G.I. Joe episode. That's a really great callback.
Yeah,
I loved it. I'm like, oh man, someone's paying attention.
Yeah,
someone is paying attention. Yes.
You're doing a Snake Eyes reboot? Well, it's more of an origin story than a reboot, but sure.
Also, I think this movie's gonna be trash, most likely because we heard zero about it. And when the trailer came out, and then they said, "Oh, and it's coming out this summer," I was like,
"Oh yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, kind of like Mortal Kombat was."
Well, but we'd heard about Mortal Kombat for a while.
Yeah,
we had, okay, this person's directing it. These people are starting to come on board, and then like whether it's still a short timeline, we could argue about that. But like, I heard zero about another G.I. Joe movie, let alone a reboot.
I have a feeling that a lot of the principal filming was done at the very beginning of COVID. So like they probably started in 2000, principal filming went through, and then COVID hit, and then they didn't want to run into the same problems that they had with, Dune, for example, or Black Widow, or every other movie that's been delayed over a year. So they just kept quiet about it.
Until they knew for sure. Okay, that could be true. Could be true. I thought of one other thing I wanted to say, because I know we didn't really talk about the connections to this, and I know we don't know what we don't know for sure how the impact is going to be with Doctor Strange, because we don't know exactly when it's. But yeah, he's going to have a mess to clean up, so we got that. We know Scarlet Witch is going to play a significant role in that. We'd heard that he's going to play a significant role in Spider-Man, although that still seems up in the air. Speaking of things that we didn't know about, though, because you and me had reported on Kang a long while back, but I had no idea he was going to be in this. Julia Louis-Dreyfus got snuck into Black Widow, and then we found out in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they'd apparently hidden her under a tent the entire time to get her in and out. You remember Kevin Feige? He was upset when we found out that Doc Ock was going to be in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
Because he was like, man, I really wish. He's like, if part of it was like, I wish the actors could do a better job, like holding that in so people can have a little more surprise when the trailer dropped and so on and so forth. Is it possible, at least in a cameo, maybe not the entire movie, because this seems hard. I just can't believe they would get these two in the movie through so a cameo could see happening. But the rumors for Garfield and Maguire were so fever pitch, and you and me, we kept shooting them down because I'm like, that has not been confirmed. We have not seen them on set. We've seen Jamie Foxx and we've seen Alfred Molina, but we have not seen those two. So stop it. Cut it out. We have not seen that. But with the last two things that have happened, these two sneaks that have happened, I'm kind of wondering, could Marvel have pulled the greatest wool over?
Like if they pull that off, their security level is with full respect up there with the Masked Singer, which is saying something. But yeah, I want this to be a reality. I want Tom Holland to meet Tobey Maguire and say, "You're grown me. You look younger than I do," or something along those lines. And then both of them kind of hating Andrew Garfield's character just a little bit. And then, yeah, I want that. And I also want Nicolas Cage to show up as Noir Spider-Man again.
Yes,
Because we know Nick Cage is hated at Red Lobster because he never turns down a role.
Yeah, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're going to be in a wait and see mode. I'm not going to make a definitive call on that one.
Yeah.
I'm not brave enough.
Yeah, I think we'll know once the first trailer comes out.
Well,
or you think they would hold it until?
I'm kind of hoping that they're going to mess with us a bit.
Ooh.
Like you're going to see, like, there's going to be a shot of a shadowed figure in the foreground and Tom Holland with his mask off in the background, and maybe pointing, and the shadowed figure is pointing at him, a la Spider-Man meme, and people are they're just going to lose their minds, and it's going to be nothing. It's going to be absolutely nothing. I fully endorse Sony and Marvel trolling us.
Yeah, Cameo seems like they could do it. You could do that in your homes. You could pull some stuff off with some CGI in the houses, with them in separate places to get them into it. I just don't think for a full movie. So if it's a cameo, we won't know that until it actually comes out. I think they'll keep that as tight as possible. Part of me, my kid heart kind of wants them to pull it off if that's what they were going for. But
yeah,
can you make this happen? Please, 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 please. Or if it is a cameo, maybe because they're trying to get Tom Holland in for 3 more Spider-Man movies, which I assume he'll do.
Because he's Sony, and Sony doesn't give a crap about what Kevin Feige thinks.
Maybe we'll get a secret, maybe we'll get Clone Wars or the Spider Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what the lead-in could be, is that with the multiverse being in multiple shattered, and then bringing in the Garfield Doc Ock and the Garfield Electro, that will be the launch into that. It'd be like, and maybe that's where you get your Maguire and Garfield. So it's like, it won't happen this movie, but you get that tease in the end credits, and it will be the loudest noise you've heard in a nerd theater since Cat picked up the hammer.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
I don't disagree with you on that one.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that was my last bit, because the other connected stuff, I don't know. I mean, it will be connected. I just don't know. So there's no, I mean, I could shit with you. I could just make some stuff up. You want me to make some stuff up?
No. Don't want you to make stuff up. We've got a reputation to uphold.
Yeah. Or being accurate predictors.
Yes.
Oh, at the quorum, I gave you and me 5% credit for at least knowing that it was going to be a variance at the end of in the castle thing.
Yeah.
We had the wrong character, but we had but I couldn't give us partial credit. I had to give us 5%.
But I'll take 5% because we didn't know that character even existed until they showed up.
Well, they are in the comics, so I mean.
Oh yes, but
I mean, okay, all right, folks. This has been the Commander Shipp and Major Tom show, our weekly movie and TV. But did the quorum accept? You know what, Taryn? I'm in the outro. You drop something like that, knowing I gotta start all over again. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, we're just gonna mess with you during your next time you do the rundown.
Yeah, that's right. One of those mysterious B-rolls is gonna just show up in the middle of the video, Taryn. I don't need y'all's acceptance. We get 5%.
It's gonna be a collection 5%. Of sneeze takes.
It's gonna be a collection of what?
Sneeze takes.
Huh? What about pratfalls?
Ooh. Well, how many times is Taryn falling?
No, I'll just make a real pratfall. Mix it in.
Okay. Or Owen Wilson just saying, "Wow, wow,
wow,
wow, ow, that mischievous scamp."
All right. Later this week, we have the Quorums going through this show Powerless. It's a DC NBC collab that talks about an insurance company with Danny Pudi, I'm about to say Virginia Hudgens, Vanessa Hudgens, Alan Tudyk, as they try to live in a world of superheroes and the chaos that happens. After that, our doubleheader on Thursday, Red Shirt Rejects will be on. Kyle and Trevor are back. It's been a long couple weeks. And they were talking, I was about to say Raffican. First Contact, the other good Star Trek movie. There's more than one. There's more than one. Sorry. But yeah, we're talking First Contact. We've been pushing it off for a bit. But yeah, we'll finally be talking First Contact. And don't forget to catch the rundown with Taryn Bell.
With Taryn interrupting an outro bell.
That's right. Ace, it's not, you have to rent it right now because I don't think it's on HBO Max. If you need access to it, we're doing our old Plex server. So message me on Discord, or you can also do Facebook if you need to, on the Facebook page or on Discord, and I'll make sure you get access to it. Cool. And then next week, we have not had our movie in a month in a while, but we will be having our movie of the month next weekend. Look for our Patreon users. Sounds like a lot of people want to do Space Jam. So maybe we'll do the public one.
You know what? What gets you Space Jam? Money.
Money does get you Space Jam. So shout out to our current Patreon subscribers, Doug Schumann and Shelby Johnson. And if they vote on doing Space Jam, but we do 2 viewings, so we could do the public one as Space Jam, and then let them decide what we're going to do for the second movie for the Patreon only watch. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Had a great time, and as always, we'll salute you to see you next week. Copyright loss.
And here it is, your moment of Zine.